The jealousy stinks. The jealousy is potent, pungent, like morning breath on a man who hasn't brushed his teeth for a decade. You can smell it. Manchester United announced their plans, their design, their formal approach to building the biggest stadium in the UK, a brand new 100,000-seater spectacular football stadium. And you can see the designs here with the Trident of the North approach, a brilliant public area before games, before matches, a wonderful outside design, beautiful public spaces that will be open 24 hours a day, the museum, and of course the surrounding area getting a massive and well overdue facelift. For me, straight away we can park one bit. Some of you will like the design, some of you won't. You're never going to please everybody all of the time in relation to this new stadium. But for me, the focus is the new 100,000-seater element of the new Old Trafford, as it were. It's a demonstration of our size compared to all of our UK rivals. The fact that we will have, and I looked at these numbers earlier and I wrote them down as a standout to me, and I want to read these out to you here. 37,500 thousand more seats than Tottenham, 39,000 more seats than Liverpool, 40,000 more seats than Arsenal, 47,000, almost double the size of Manchester City's Etihad, 60,000, by the way, 60,000 more seats than Chelsea, and 10,000 more than Wembley. That is something I'll be proud to call my home. Now, I know there are some United fans that, listen, this doesn't look like the stadium or the area that I grew up supporting, that I know and remember. I love the current design. I love how the current area looks. And I understand that. My only pushback is the current Old Trafford and the surrounding area Old Trafford doesn't look like it did 50 years ago. It certainly doesn't look like it did 100 years ago. And in another 50 and 100 years' time, what we're about to go through now will happen again, because innovation, redevelopment is constantly needed, because things deteriorate, become old, and need regeneration. So I understand people are attached to the current Old Trafford. But let me just say this now. That we wouldn't be extending the new stadium. It's not like putting a conservatory on a house. The house stays the same, you build a conservatory. To take Manchester United, to take Old Trafford into the 21st century, to redevelop the local area the way in which Man United and the local authority is going to do, a new stadium is needed. If we kept the same one, by the time it was complete and rejuvenated, that would also look like a completely different stadium. Tottenham's ground is in the same place the old one was, or it moved a few meters. It doesn't look the same, though. It's a completely different stadium. So it doesn't really matter if it's on the same ground, the exact same piece of land, or they move it 100 yards to the side. The stadium is going to look completely different. Internally, it's going to be different. The toilets will be in different places. The atmosphere will feel different. It is all being changed, whether we move sites or stay on the exact location. So for me, I'll be sad to see the current design go. I fell in love with it as a young child. I remember seeing the stages of it being built in the early years of Fergie, the early years of the Prem, and it was amazing. But I have that same excitement now that I had as a child watching this gargantuan stadium be built, so much bigger than our rivals in the 90s, and we're going to be doing that again now. Now, rivals are going to be bitter. Rivals are going to look for this to be a negative. Oh, I don't like the design. Oh, you're going to the Championship. What a big stadium to have. No way you're selling it out. Listen, by and large, the criticism is going to be jealousy. Rivals are jealous. They're frustrated. How the hell are United doing this when they're in the mud? Because we are still the biggest team in England. Yes, we don't have the most Champions Leagues. Yes, by the end of this season, Liverpool have equalled us on league titles won. Yes, Arsenal have more FA Cups than us. But we have the biggest fan base. we are still the most famous team to come out of England, whether people like it or not. And we will sell out that 100,000-seater stadium. And the jealousy comes because of what it represents. Man United throughout the 90s and noughties, if we compare ourselves to Liverpool, due to the size of our stadium compared to theirs, we were pulling away in terms of finance, somewhere in the region of £1.5 to £2 million per home game. We were becoming richer than Liverpool, which always gave us an advantage in the transfer market, renewing player contracts because the money's there. Now, we know there's a lot to sort out financially with Man United, but having an extra 25,000 seats will generate a huge amount of revenue for the football club, to which the only thing we need to apply pressure on is that money is spent on the men's team, is spent on the women's team, developing the youth academy, and pumped into the upkeep of the stadium. And we never allow it to become as run down, rusty, leaking as the current Old Trafford is. That's where we've got to hope this money is spent and reinvested. And rivals are frustrated. I'll tell you another reason why rivals are frustrated, because as much as... And look, there are some United fans as well. I don't want the Glazers to make money out of this, Terry. They're going to make even more. It's going to make the club more valuable. I'm against it for that reason. I understand that. This is why for 4 or 5 years I pushed the notion of a full worldwide boycott of Man United to pull our money away, to force those leeches, the Glazers, out. The problem is, I don't think I delivered that message in the right way. Not enough United fans bought into it. And we are where we are. The Glazers are going to make billions of pounds of profit out of this club, regardless of what we do. Regardless of what we do, they're walking away with multiple billions of pounds, and there's very little that we can do about it. So we have two options. The club continues to stand still, no innovation, no redevelopment, and we slowly but surely rot. The Glazers will still make billions of pounds when they sell us, but the club will be in an absolute dire state with less people interested in buying it. Or we can move forward, we can regenerate the area, build the best stadium, the biggest stadium in the country. We can make the club a more viable option potentially for an outright buyer. But at the same time, we can continue to move forward, continue to raise our revenues, try to create some more clear blue water between us and our other Premier League rivals, who have all slowly but surely over the last 2 decades caught us up financially because of that lack of innovation. So purely from a United perspective, I get the pushback, but we cannot stand still. Whether you hate, love, or are indifferent when it comes to the Glazers and them making money out of us, we cannot stand still as a football club, because that's why we are 15th in the league. 14th, 15th in the league. Because we've stood still for far too long and we haven't innovated and pushed forward. And my final message is this. Look, the media are going to make this into a negative. But I've said to United fans before, and I'll state it again, do not side with the mainstream media. They're not your friend. You may not like an element of this. You might think, well, we've made people redundant. Now we're building a new stadium. How does this work? That seems unfair. Fair challenge. But actually, the club is able, the owners of the club are able to pump money in that's deductible against PSR and FFP to build a new stadium. Investors will get involved. There might be some slight borrowing. Sponsorships will be involved. But it's going to generate for the local area thousands of jobs. That is a positive, in my opinion. The extra revenue generated in the bigger stadium means we'll employ more people in the future. Just having 25,000 extra people means we're going to probably have to increase the steward load by 25%, which is even more jobs for people in the future. But unlike what the Glazers were doing, where we were barely increasing our revenue, but doubling our operating cost by employing people, we'll wait till the revenue's increased, then we're going to employ more people, making it sustainable. So the media is going to put a lot out about this. They're probably going to lie again that the taxpayer is paying for it. But remember this. We could get the Qataris come back tomorrow, buy it outright and follow this same plan. The media will then turn and say, well, the money's coming from this source and it's immoral and United fans shouldn't celebrate it either. Remember, doesn't matter who our owners are, doesn't matter what our plans are, it will be spun into a negative. So just because they write an article where you agree with some of the points, don't forget the mainstream media's motivation. It is to consistently pour cold water over anything good, or to throw canisters of petrol over any kind of flame. They are not trying to put anything out. They are not trying to help Man United. They are not on your side. They are not on your side in any way, any shape, or in any form. Don't delude yourself for a second to thinking any type of owner would work. If Elon Musk bought us tomorrow, they'd turn it into a negative. If the Qataris buy us outright, it will be a negative. No matter who owns Man United, it will be spun into a negative, and everything we do, they'll find a way of saying it's immoral. So just let that sink in for a moment. I get why rivals are jealous. I get the questions from Man United fans with everything else going on around the football club. And is it going to be perfect? No. Will there be mistakes along the way? Will there be problems with the build? Yes, because every construction site has problems. It's not going to be exclusive to Manchester United. But by and large, us looking to regenerate our stadium, rejuvenate the area, become the first 100,000 seater stadium in UK history, I think it's something to be happy, excited, and proud of. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Give me your thoughts and feelings in the comment section below, and we'll see you all again soon.